Hello and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, welcome, and if you've been here before, I'm glad you're back. In today's video, I have another kind of free workshop for you. I decided to step away from all the lovey-dovey stuff. I mean, there are plenty of videos that I've done already with all kinds of designs for Valentine's Day, and if you didn't watch them, I think you should, because you know they range from beginner to like more advanced. And I mean, even the ones that are more advanced, they're quite easy to do, honestly. But I decided to show you today something a bit different. So I went in with a anti-Valentine's Day design, and I didn't want just a plain I hate you kind of anti-Valentine's Day design. I wanted something that would convey a message, and I do think I succeeded. Like I think it gives quite a strong message. Obviously, if you don't like or you don't want any like gory stuff for the anti-Valentine's Day thing, you can just skip the blood and like the handprints. I didn't go very gory, but then I did this little dude here, and he's just adorable. And the messages, like, you can write whatever you want, but this is what I would think. And yes, I know they are a bit like, you know, they're not perfectly written, but that's the point, because you would like do this and then you'd write the message really quickly and angrily. So, you know, that's kind of the point. I didn't want the writing to be perfect in any way, shape, or form. And then, you know, I've done the little heart there that's all patched up. So this whole thing has basically a story. So, you know, you got hurt, you patched up your heart, and then you said, you know what, I didn't need you. And then you did that. And then you said, well, hope that hurt. And then this happened to this, like the guy. You know what I mean? So yeah, I made a story. I needed a story in order to do this set. And I do think that it's absolutely adorable. I love it so much. And I hope you do too. And if you learn anything from today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. And subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of this. Again, if you want more like love stuff, you know, like proper Valentine's Day designs, you can go back, and I have loads. I have loads of designs ranging from beginner to like more advanced. Even the ones that are more advanced, they are still beginner friendly. Trust me, you just need to try them. So yeah, with all of that said, happy Valentine's Day, and let's do some nails. I'm going to start off with Ruth from the Kirsty Meakin Gel Polish collection. And I will apply 2 layers of this and cure each for 30 seconds, which means that they will be fully cured with my lamp. And then I'm gonna go in with Lucy, Lust, and Summer. And then I'm gonna use the middle liner from Glitter Bells, and then this thicker gel brush, again from Glitter Bells. I'm going to remove the sticky layer, and I will just kind of mark where I want my heart's middle to be. And then yeah, I decided that that was not right, so I moved the middle a little bit. And now I'm just kind of drawing a heart using those dots like for a reference. This doesn't have to be perfect because you can fix it in a minute when you're filling it up, but it's kind of, you know, you can see it's not perfect. But I'm just gonna fill it up in a second, so that's fine. Then I'm using the brush from the bottle to just cover more ground here, because otherwise I would be here forever trying to fill it up with the detailer brush. So I added more product there. If this was on a client, I would say for everything that I'm doing in this video, maybe you could do 2 layers if you're unsure that you're gonna get a nice thin layer that's gonna be full coverage. So yeah, don't go crazy on your clients. These nails are never gonna be worn, so they're gonna go in a display case. But if you would do this on a client, they would have to wear it, and then they would have like uncured product. And then when you do removal, if you're doing like filing, that's gonna end up on your skin, and you don't want that. Just yeah, keep that in mind. Anyway, At this point, like the line work, basically the outline of this does not have to be perfect, because you will add a black outline, so don't worry about that. Then here I'm just adding other patches. So basically I did my design that I wanted to be the main focus on this. You can do this design for, like, you know, with stars in the middle. You can do this design with whatever you want and just add patches around it. I wanted a heart because obviously anti-Valentine's Day, so you know. But yeah, you can do whatever shape you want to be in focus, and that's gonna be in focus, if that makes sense. I'm not making a lot of sense, but that's fine. Then I added that pink there at the top, and I didn't want to add too many colors, so I thought that this 4 colors is gonna be enough. Especially because the last nail that I'm gonna do, the little guy, is gonna have exactly this color palette, so yeah, I didn't want to add any more than that if I could help it. So I'm again just adding patches here and there. Make sure you don't put 2 patches of the same color quite close to each other, let's say. Keep them a little bit separate, just because otherwise it can look a bit overwhelming. If you're doing a big patch on one side of one color, make sure you don't do a big patch of the same color on the other side. So kind of keep it a bit, you know, equal, if that makes sense. And then I cured that completely, and I'm going in with the steady gels from Ink London, and I'm gonna use all of them at some point, and so that's why I'm just showing you all of them. I removed the sticky layer obviously because I needed to remove it in order to be able to paint properly. Otherwise even these gels might spread out, and I didn't want that. So now I'm just kind of drawing patterns on all of them except for the heart, because again I wanted that heart to be the main focus. So yeah, I just wanted to keep it nice and clean, otherwise it would just kind of look a bit mad. Then I'm going in with the vice versa dotting tool from Ink London, and I am applying some dots on this blue. So I'm using the darker blue that's from the steady gels. I forgot how they're called for a second. And I'm just drawing dots, one like really close to each other. Make sure to follow like a little bit of a pattern here. Don't just put them randomly. I mean, unless you want them randomly. I just wanted to follow a pattern. So, you know, I did some dots and then I did dots in between them, if that makes sense. And I'm just gonna do this all over the place. Again, I am going to repeat this pattern on the other nail that I'm gonna do in a second. So I didn't want something that's gonna be very complicated to redo, especially that doing something like this can take quite a bit of time. Although you think, oh, it's an easy design, and it is a very easy design, it's just time consuming. So you want to keep the patterns as like easy as you can, especially if you're wanting to repeat them on different nails. So then on here I just mixed up some of that white and some of that black, and I made a gray, just because I wanted the background, like the nude part, to be very neutral. So I didn't want to add anything very harsh in it. And I'm just doing some lines. I am trying to like follow the direction of the lines. I'm not doing a perfect job, but to be honest, you can't really tell by the time the design is finished. This is just something that you see in the background, and you know, it looks fine in my opinion. So make sure you don't miss any spots, because this is very important. You are going to be able to tell if you're missing spots, and it's going to be horrible for you, especially if you finished and you're going to see that, and that's the only thing that you're going to be able to see afterwards. Trust me, because I am like that. Now I'm just taking some of that black from the steady gels, and I am just doing the outlines. This is very easy to do. It's a very nice pigmented black and really easy to work with, so the brush is flowing really nicely. If I make mistakes, it's usually because of me, not because of the product, because my hands are shaking like crazy here. I mean, I don't understand what I can do to stop shaking so badly. I don't know, especially with the camera. You're gonna see in a minute that at some point I didn't even, yeah, you're gonna see. We're gonna talk about it when we get there. But anyway, I am just doing the outline. What I want first is to actually put the product on there, and then you're gonna see I'm going back and I'm kind of fixing some areas. But because this is going to be kind of like stitches, this doesn't have to be perfect either, because you're gonna be able to like fix any mistakes by adding stitches, as you can see here. So the stitches are going to be very raggedy, because the whole kind of feel of the design is very raggedy. So I am just kind of making some thicker, some thinner, some shorter, some longer, some, I didn't want it to be perfect. And no, I'm not using this as an excuse. I actually did not want this to be perfect, so I didn't even try to spend time to making it perfect. I just kind of, made them raggedy and from the beginning, because that's what I had in mind. So yeah, I'm just adding stitches everywhere where I need to, on all of the little, patches there. And I'm going around. Again, make sure before you actually put a top coat on this that you check it again and again to make sure you haven't missed the spot. It's really easy to miss a spot with something that has so much detail on it, and it will, for me at least, it will bother me. Something like this does bother me, so just keep that in mind to keep on checking. Then in the middle of the nail there, as I was saying, I was so concentrated that I was out of focus. I don't know why my camera keeps on picking up on my finger, but yeah. And then I've done like a line, like the heart was split in half kind of thing, and I'm adding stitches because you kind of repaired your heart a little bit. And then I decided to put another bit of broken thing there, just because I felt like this heart was so big that it needed a bit more detail. So, especially with how busy everything else was. And then I added like a little hashtag thing here, just kind of make it look really dirty. And now, because these steady gels don't have a sticky layer, and because I removed the sticky layer from the rest of the colors, you can actually put the velvet top coat that I'm using right now, so the matte top coat, you can actually put it on and play with it as much as you can, or as much as you need to, because this is not going to drag, because again, these don't have a sticky layer, which is great. So yeah, I think that's awesome. So I put a really, really thin layer on that, just because I didn't want it to, how matte top coat sometimes tends to get things foggy. I didn't want that to happen. Anyway, now I'm going in with that, I think it was called Summer, and I've put that all over the nail, 2 layers, removed the sticky layer, and now here I'm going in with that blue again that I completely forgot the name of for. I don't know, I said the name for it in the beginning, I just can't remember. So bad at this. And now I'm going back with the nude that I can't remember either. I think this might be Ruth, I'm not sure. So I'm just making again a very random thing. I'm gonna keep this nail a bit more simple because I'm gonna add something when the design is gonna be finished. So yeah, and I decided to add a bit of that yellow on my finger just because I didn't want to go back to the palette and come back to the nail and so on. So I just kept it on the finger there, and it was a lot easier for me. I do have 3 finger palettes that I could have used, but yeah, I didn't. I just decided to put that straight on my glove. So don't put it on your actual finger. You can put it on your nail, but I do recommend to use gloves every time you're painting or anything, in case something actually gets on your finger. So yeah, don't use the products without gloves on, honestly. Then I'm doing exactly the same thing as I did on the other one. I'm keeping the same pattern, the same color choices. So I did the pink with the yellow, and then I did the nude with the gray, and now I'm doing the blue with the blue and with the dots. So again, you need to keep it simple. If you're gonna do something that's quite busy, if you keep it simple, it's gonna be so much easier for you. And especially, you know, it's gonna be easier to remember what color went with what and things like that. So it's gonna make sense. So now I'm just putting the dots there. You can see I'm going in between. I'm putting a row of dots and then going in between and so on. And then I'm adding the stitching. Again, it does not matter how perfect these are. They do not have to be perfect. And now I'm just adding raggedy stitching, like actual stitching, everywhere. And I think those little X's, just, I don't know why. I don't think I've seen many people do like X's once they're like trying to sew something, but they just make my heart be happy. I don't know why. I think it's a beautiful thing. And then I'm applying a matte top coat, and I will cure this for 60 seconds, because this has a 60-second cure, again in my lamp. And yeah, I'm looking everywhere, seeing if, you know, everything's nice and even, because the matte top coat tends to be a bit less self-leveling than the rest of the top coats. And then I'm gonna go in with Vamp from Kirsty Meakin, and I will start drawing some blood. And if this seems too graphic for your clients or whatever, you can just skip this part. I just wanted this to be a bit more, I don't know, graphic. I thought this is gonna be quite simple, and that's why you could add something to it really easily. And also I thought it would be a bit too happy, especially this nail compared to the rest. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna add this. And yeah, I in my opinion, I did a good job. Now you can have a different opinion from me. I don't really mind. You know, we're each entitled to our own opinions, so that's fine. And what I'm doing here, I'm just adding some drops, and then I am kind of connecting them to the top where, you know, the actual thing is coming from. And I'm just doing this slowly. You don't have to rush at all. Just do your connections in between them. As you can see here, I am bringing them all up. You don't have to make them perfect from the beginning. You can go back and fix everything, but I would recommend to wait until you put this bit here, like the last bit of color, and then look at everything, because that's when you see if you need to fix anything, like lines, like drops, like anything. It's when you actually have the whole color everywhere. Otherwise, you only have those drips, and then it looks weird whatever you do, honestly. So just take your time, put all the color on the nail first, and then go back in with your brush and fix everything that needs to be fixed. Just work gently and take your time and round everything up as you go. And yeah, I mean, it's that easy. And then I'm just adding some drops here and there just to add a bit more interest to the whole thing, and then cure that. And I'm going to go in with the Ultimate No Wipe top coat, and I'm gonna go over the top of the whole thing just to make it nice and shiny. And yeah, I mean, it's that simple. Make sure you don't put a huge amount of like that top coat, because it's quite like it's not very thick in consistency, so it's gonna move around a lot. So make sure you put a small amount, and then yeah, then cure that, and that nail is done. Anyway, now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna I use the same nude color for the background, and I'm gonna use that brush, that sponge that I just showed you. So it's just a little bit of sponge from somewhere, makeup sponge, and I'm gonna use that gray that I mixed earlier for the for the patches. And I'm just gonna kind of put it everywhere on this nail because I want this to look like an old piece of parchment that has been through a lot, kind of thing. So I added that to the nail randomly everywhere. And I'm now going back and I'm kind of like softening some spots. I'm adding a bit more in some spots. And then I'm going in with some black, but I'm not going to use a lot of this. Like the smallest amount, because our writing is going to be black. And if you use a lot of black for the background, you're not going to be able to see the writing. Then I'm going to use this stamping polish from, number 5 from Born Pretty. And I'm going to put some on my palette. And you need to keep in mind that I removed the sticky layer and that the gel paints that I use don't have a sticky layer on them. So I'm going to go in with my fatty fingers straight on the nail. But again, there shouldn't be any product residue. Don't use this if you think there's a product residue, because then the product's going to get on your skin and I can't say this enough. So I'm just putting some like fingerprints on there, as you can see, again because I wanted this to be very used, and obviously the writing would have been done after the deed, if that makes sense. So yeah, then I left that to dry for, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds to a minute, just because that is a stamping polish and it dries really quickly. If you think it's gonna take longer, then leave it for longer. And now I'm just using some shiny top coat, and you saw that I'm dragging it on the nail, and that's because I do not want a lot of product. I just wanted that to be protected in case I make mistakes and I need to wipe it off. But I didn't want it to be foggy once I put the top coat, like the matte top coat on. And then I started writing, and I am so sorry, but this footage here is so out of focus. The camera kept on like focusing on my finger, and that's because I was in the wrong placement, but I was so focused on getting this done. I did not want to make this writing nice. This would be done in like an ink pen, like the inkwell pens, and it would be done quick and angrily. So you do not need to do this to make it nice and even, because this is not going to be nice and even. Actually, you're going to see I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to fix some spots that I thought they were too nice. Because yeah, again, you're going to do this angrily and you're going to be quick, and I mean the paper is dirty, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm just gonna write my little message and just yeah, I'm not spending a lot of time to do this. It's such an easy design. You can write whatever you want, and you can see that I'm not trying to make any of the letters like match each other in any way. And as I said, I'm going back in and I'm trying to make this even like more grungy looking and horrible. And I'm also trying to make all of them be kind of thick, just because I was afraid that you're not going to be able to see them very well with the black background. So yeah, then I'm going in with the matte top coat, and because this doesn't have a sticky layer, again, I can actually go in and put as little product as possible on the nail, because I didn't want any fogginess. So yeah, I'm just playing with it a little bit, and then this is how they look. You can see there's no fogginess except for, my camera doesn't pick it up properly. Then for the last nail, I already kind of sketched something out just to make sure of the proportions of the thing, of the little doll thing. And I cannot draw a circle to save my life, so I will be fixing this. That was lint. I will be fixing this a lot first to make the nice circle that I wanted. It's gonna take me a little bit, so the head ended up being bigger than the rest of the body. But that's fine, because I think that's the best part of the doll, so that's okay. And to be honest, I do think it's not disproportionate at all, in my opinion. So again, you can have another opinion. You can see that if I have a bigger area to fill in, I'm going in with the bigger brush. That's what I'm using it for here, and it works great. But yeah, I mean, it's not a perfect circle still, but it's it's better than what it was before. It was very flat before. And I will cure that once I'm happy with it, and then I'm gonna go in with that blue that we used earlier, not the gel paint blue, the gel polish blue that I still can't remember how it's called. And I'm gonna do a little bit of a half circle there, and then I'm gonna do a circle here. And again, I can't draw a circle to save my life, so what I end up doing here is making it bigger and bigger and bigger, because I wasn't happy with how big the eyes were, and I wanted them even bigger. So I kept on going back, and just, yeah, you can see here I keep on making it bigger. I knew I wanted like really big eyes, but then I didn't know exactly how they're gonna look once I put the color down. And obviously I kind of, went over my sketch there, and yeah, everything that I did in the sketch with the proportions was gone right now, because I kept on, I painted over the top of it, so I had to kind of wing it. Then I'm doing kind of the same thing on the other eye, but this one is going to be a little bit to the side there, so, and it's actually, now that I look at it, it might be a bit bigger than the other one, but that's fine. Then I am going in with a little bit of the shiny top coat and just the tiniest bit of that gel paint. I wish I would have used a gel polish here instead of the gel paint, because it tends to look like it doesn't mix completely because it's so pigmented. So in here is fine, but there's a point where I actually have to overwork it a little bit because it looks streaky. So if I were to do this again, I would use a gel polish instead of a gel paint. Just keep that in mind. That's my advice. You can do whatever you want. This is great for getting quick pigment with like a drop of product, but yeah, a gel polish would have like worked better, would have mixed better with the top coat. You can see I went around that to add a bit of shadow there, and now I'm adding a little bit of shadow under the eyes, because these will be buttons by the end of it, so they have a little height to them. So yeah, if that makes sense. And now I'm going in with the bigger brush, and I'm kind of trying to blend that in. Obviously these two shadows are going to touch, and then I'm just blending this in as well, slowly, gently. You don't have to do a lot. And then I just added a line there, just kind of give this the idea of being a circle. So not a circle, a sphere, sorry. Then I'm going in for the body, and I am filling in again. I'm really sorry I'm out of focus. Oh, why does this happen with like every time I'm doing something detailed? I'm so focused on the actual painting that I don't even look at what's happening. So what I did was I painted the body, and then I cured it, and now I'm painting the arms and legs, because that way you can actually kind of see where they meet, and it's easier when you're putting like shadows and like outlines and stuff like that. So that's how you can do it without doing each part and adding shadows to each part of the body. You can do the whole thing and then cure it separately, and then you're gonna be able to kind of fix it. And then I was not happy with how thick that arm was, so I removed some of that paint. Make sure you keep on like looking at it from different angles, because then you're gonna see if any proportions are off or anything like that. Because once you're working on something and you're there, you kind of lose that ability to see anything wrong with it, or like anything obviously wrong with it, if that makes sense. So proportions off or stuff like that, you kind of need to look somewhere else and come back, and then with fresh eyes you are going to see what's wrong, or if something's wrong. It might be perfect, but you kind of have to see it. So now I'm kind of darkening some of those shadows, because I was not happy with how dark they were. And you can see here what I'm talking about being a bit streaky. It is just a tad streaky, and I kept on trying to like work it in there, but yeah, I should have used gel polish. I just tried, you know, I wanted to try it to see how it goes. I got my answer. I am telling you my answer. And you can see I keep on going over some of them because again, I was not happy. I just spent so long. I think it's like half an hour of footage of me doing only the shadows on this. And that's it. That's all I've done. Only the shadows for half an hour. The details and everything else took me like 3 minutes. The shadows took me half an hour just because I was not happy with it. And yeah, anyway, now I'm going in with that red, so everything is cured, and I'm going in with that red and I'm drawing a heart. You've seen me draw a heart so many times before, so you know, I just added 2 dots and then I added a line in the middle and I'm dragging the sides in the middle there, and it's not perfect. I'm trying to make that you know, right side a bit bigger, but I am not getting anything done better, but it looks fine from a distance, you know, it's fine. Then what I'm doing here is I am adding some top coat, and I'm doing this over the top of the nail, but again, I'm adding very, very, very little product, so the tiniest bit of product, and I obviously went for a matte top coat. There's no rhyme or reason. You could have done this for all of them if you wanted to add a matte top coat. I just didn't until now. I don't know why. And now I'm adding just some outlines, and you are going to see that some of the outlines are going to be like where his hands and feet are kind of like finishing and whatever. You're gonna see some stitching, and yeah, I'm just kind of doing that. I'm going around, I'm trying to fix everything. Again, this stitching does not have to be perfect, because we kind of wanted to go with the rest of the nails that we've done until now, so everything was very raggedy, and it's exactly what you need. And then yeah, I'm just going around and doing all of the, you know, the outlines for everything. So can't really talk much about this, can I? Then I'm adding the little foot there, like the sole of the foot there. I just looked to see if it was a good placement where I put it. And now I'm just kind of adding the stitching and at the bottom of the foot. And then I am going to add his arm there and the rest of his like body. And yeah, I mean, there's not much I can say, you know. So I'm adding the hand as well. Again, this like the not the sole of the hand, but you know what I mean. And then I'm going around the heart, and I'm adding that because obviously this heart would have been stitched separately, and you can consider this heart the same one as it was the one in the first nail. I don't really care what you consider about this heart. I kind of just did it, and I'm adding some stitching. I'm not adding very much, like very many stitches, because then it kind of looks a bit too much, if that makes sense. So yeah, and then I'm adding stitching in the middle of his head for some reason, just because I wanted it there. And I'm adding a mouth there. It does not have to smile. It's, you know, I know it's cute. I mean, in my opinion, he's cute, but he doesn't have to smile. So I'm adding stitching all over his face, and then around his head I'm adding an outline. And I know this part is a bit boring, but I just find the outline drawing so satisfying. Just because, I don't know, it's like everything is coming together. Like, I know everything looked weird, and then everything is coming together so nicely when you put the outline on, and it's such an important part of every design. You know, if you want the design to have an outline, because obviously if you do like watercolor style, you're not going to have an outline, and that's completely fine as well. It's just, yeah. Then for the eyes, I added two like half circles there, and I kind of attached them, and that gave us that 3D effect that we were looking for. And now, you know, the shadow from under the eye makes sense because you added that 3D effect. So I'm doing exactly the same thing on the other eye, and I am adding, you know, the same half circle kind of thing, and I messed up a little bit there, but it's gonna be back. I'm fixing it, it's fine, because I couldn't make a mistake because I didn't cure anything until now, and I would recommend for you to flash cure in the meantime some parts, just in case you make a mistake or something. I didn't, just because I don't know, I guess I don't like myself very much. And now I'm going back in with that dotting tool. Oh god, and I'm adding 4 dots. Apparently I can't speak anymore. And then I'm going to connect those dots with some string, so I'm just kind of, you know, making some X's in there, and you know, he's finished basically. And then I needed to add some pins. Obviously some pins went in his heart because that's what this whole design is about. And I added 3 like this, and then I realized that it's a bit too I don't know, it's a bit too weird, but I realized that after I've put these dots at the end of the pins, and you're gonna see me adding another pin in a second in his heart, but then I decided to add a couple here just because, you know, I mean, this person broke our heart, so it would be angry, we would be angry kind of thing. Nothing makes sense, does it? I have to say I did cure the first outline before I started to add the pins, just because I didn't know if I'm gonna like the placement of them. And then I added some dots of white just to make those pins a bit more visible, and then I decided to add some highlights just on the top of, like, on his eyes, because this would be like the shiniest part of him. The rest would obviously be like rags, so it wouldn't necessarily be shiny. You could add some highlights because obviously you added some shadows. I just decided not to. I just used that, you know, normal pink color as the you know, the highlights, and that's it. Now here I am applying a layer of matte top coat, and again nothing drags because these paints don't have a sticky layer. And then after this nail is going to be done. So these are done now, and I love them so much. They're just absolutely adorable. Like, he doesn't know what's happening. Look at his face. I just love him. And yeah, with the other designs, I don't know, I mean, I absolutely love them, and I love the color palette. You know, it's not very dark, because I've seen a lot of anti-Valentine's Day designs, and they tend to be very dark and with black and things. But if you want someone that, you know, doesn't want anything that's too, you know, cute, well, no, he is cute. He's adorable. Look at those little feet. But if you don't want someone, if you have someone that doesn't want like proper Valentine's Day designs but doesn't want the dark colors, you can always do something like this and actually turn some cute colors into something a bit more dark, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, you know, share it with your friends, give me a like, comment, subscribe, stuff like that. And, you know, I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.